plenty of tasty food and... Ah! What in the Lord was that buzzing scoundrel? Wasp! Wasp! It's crazy, asshole! Relatable? No? Is it just me losing my mind over the thought of these flying murder machines coming at me? Easy to say I'm being overdramatic, but have you ever seen one of the pointy things they have in their butts? Yeah, a stinger. Was I ever stung by a bee? No, luckily. Do I want to be? Also, big no. Safe to say, I will not be sitting comfortably anywhere within the parameter of these psychopathic murder machines. You know what's sad though? The kind, gentle, hard-working bees are getting a bad reputation because of wasps. I mean, it's not like I'll be sitting comfortably when I hear a buzzing object approaching me at terminal velocity. So, sorry my bee friends, I really don't mind you, because you really are admirable. However, better to assume the worst and be safe and sound, rather than reckless and stung. You'd think, since I try to avoid close encounters with insects and such, nothing bad would happen to me in that context. Wrong. It was a hot summer day. I was standing on a hill in my backyard. From it, I could see over the fence. I could not see, however, what was right below my feet. And so I watched my parents just sitting around, my brother playing the inflatable kiddie pool. And then I felt something brushing against my leg. Just a blade of grass, I thought, though I could not have been more wrong. As I looked down, I noticed a steady stream of ants climbing up my leg. Now, from a grown-up person's perspective, it might not have been a big deal, but for the 5-year-old me, they're about to crawl off my nose and eat my brains out. And so, as I let out a high-pitched shriek and started stumbling in panic, the ants realized the ground they were on was not particularly stable. Mentally, or physically for that matter, and got off of me as fast as possible. Although, I would like to say no ants were harmed in making of this TED Talk. That's obviously not the case. You see, I was not particularly keen on counting the casualties that day, but I do know one thing. That assault was the revenge for the 4-year-old me stepping on random ants on the pavement. Heartless creatures these toddlers are. Though, as fun as stepping on singular ants may be, when they come at you in a pack, you had better bloody run. Now, I was going to show a slide with flying butter, but I couldn't be bothered, so flying butter, butterflies. The story is about a butterfly. I do apologize profusely for my sense of humor. So, I was in the garden as a child. The parallels. And I saw a black and orange butterfly. That's a strangely unremarkable event, you might think. And you'd be right. But isn't that the case for most things that have had an impact on us? Chasing these colorful boogers always filled me with joy. But this time was different. As the butterfly landed on the pavement, I tried to jump on it, expecting it to fly away, perhaps even in the air. But as I landed and looked around to my tiny fragile friend, he was nowhere to be seen. And so I took a step forward and saw him, or what was left of him, rather. The butterfly had been squashed and was still twitching for a few seconds before falling completely still. I could never erase that image, nor the trauma from my memory. The thrill of the chase was over, and what I was left with was an orange and black smudge on the crime scene. So, sometimes it is better if the thing you intend to happen does not. It is the chase that makes us happy and the goal that gives us meaning. Some people don't, or even refuse to think about what the consequences of reaching their goal might be. By now, you probably want me to finally get to the point, which I may or may not. Yeah, there was this one time. Okay, I'm just messing around. So, these may seem like silly stories, but I did surreptitiously put some valuable life lessons in there. This is a TED Talk after all, and not a reunion with your grandpa next to a fireplace. You might ask yourselves, who am I, a teenager, to talk about life? These teachings are not mine, however. They are someone's much wiser, the nature's. And so back to my point, the story with wasps and bees symbolizes, simply said, prejudice. Your fear might be irrational, and yet it projects itself not only on one particular group, but anything that resembles it. Question is whether it's good or not. And my answer to that would be, I don't know, but it's human nature. Who are we to argue with that? The second story, with ants, it does cover the topic of prejudice or bias indirectly. I mean, I never expected to be frightened by a few, well, a lot of ants, actually. In the end, I learned about myself, my reactions to peculiar situations. I mean, we all act irrationally sometimes, but it's not always as simple as hauling ass whenever you see a wasp. So ask yourselves, what did nature teach you?